Whew. So you may wonder why I'm out here at night, why you guys aren't getting any day videos. Because it's frankly hot out. It's like 100 degrees. Why are we filming right here? Honestly, just I just crashed. The trail comes down out here, and I always, that's sandy right there, and I need to pick a better line, maybe go a little higher here, and come down through here and off this and not into the sandy bit, but live and learn. But anyways, yeah, I'm having fun out on this thing, even though I feel like I'm half dead. All right, here we go. The 2020 Giant Talon 2 29er. So yeah, it looks like a 26-inch small size dirt jump bike, especially if the seat was slammed down, but it's not. It's a 29-inch size medium cross-country bike featuring a Roxrox XC30 fork, Tektro brakes, and Maxxis tires, the icons, kind of the key points of this bike. So let's dive into it. So this thing is every bit of 29 inches, and it's kind of strange because I only have like a 31 inch inseam, and that's with everything pushed up tight. So I don't even have clearance to stand over this bike, stand over light, or any of that, and that's really kind of strange. But once you jump up in the saddle, wow, this bike is magical. It fits right, it handles great. Oh, and for the $750 price point, this thing's batting way above its league. This is a beautiful, beautiful ride. So let's dive in, check out each all the components, and we'll show you them. The rims are Maxxis house brands. Double wall, they kind of got this nice deep V to them. They're wrapped in Maxxis rubber. Ooh, green valve stem. More about that later. Icon 29 by 2.0, 65 PSI tires. These aren't the as far as I could tell, dual compound. They're definitely not tubeless ready, but that's more on that later. And the rims used to be marketed as tubeless ready, but they're not. Now dampening the ride up front is a Roxrox XC30 coil spring fork with a lockout. And flip that bad boy down if you really got to climb, and it just leaves just a little bit of movement in the front, but doesn't allow the whole travel, which is like 120 millimeters. If I'm wrong, I'll denote it down there. I'm always wrong, so probably a denotation. Preload adjustable only down here on the fork cap. I don't know where it was factory, where it was set at the shop or whatever, but I'm 3 or 4 clicks backed off, and I'm quite happy with that. Stopping power is provided by these Tektro dual plug hydraulic disc brakes. 180 millimeters in the front and 160 in the back. The really awesome thing about these guys are, look at that, it says mineral oil. That means no dot fluid to screw up your paint. Yeah, that's a big plus for me. Now something else worth noting is the width of these bars. 31 inches, look at that. And this short, sorry, we're using the King's measurements here, 2 1/4 inch or so stem. That is not normal. Back in the day when I rode, your shifters were in here, bars were this wide. There's the whole 6 inches on top of the width of the grip on top. And while we're pointing at bars, seriously, Giant, really, do a little bit better than that. So this bike certainly has the new school slacker. It's 67 degree, I believe, 69 degree something. Again, I'll note it down there because I'm stupid. Head tube angle, which is nice and laid back. Short steer, so that makes it quicker, but with the longer bars, it gives you more overall control. And at first it felt weird, but now I really like it. And a good point I heard is it keeps your chest nice and wide for keeping the airflow. And if you actually do a push-up position, that's about where my hands end up anyways. Now one thing I will note about these 29-inch tires is the rear chainstay length is really long. The bike feels really long, which is nice and controllable on the trails, but it doesn't make it quick. You can't like get a really good pump off of stuff. That's probably a combination, like I said, the 29-inch wheel tire combo, and this thing's a bear to manual, and I've never been the best at manual or wheeling anyways, but it's hard to get that front end up. Now the saddle It's just this giant stalker, whatever, house brand, but it actually works pretty good. I just broke into my butt, and I'm quite liking it. The seat post, though, had an issue. You can kind of see my little marks down there, but it ran into, when I rode the bike, I slammed it down, or I don't even know if I did, whatever, but I was happy with the seat post height right off factory showroom. Well, I come home and find out that where I liked it, the seat post was all the way down here. So I cut the thing off. Now it's a complete Shimano drivetrain, from the trigger shifters up front to the gear set and cog set and the rear cassette drive, LVO group set, as far as I could tell, 2x9. All the cool kids are rocking a 1x system, 1x10, 1x11, 12. It kind of would have made sense for them just to do that out of the box. Seems to be cheaper to put just one cog here, and then you just add a climbing ring on the back of here or whatever. But that was the decisions they make. But also for marketing, people like more gears. So this is a 9-speed bike in the back, and then 2 up front. So for all our Common Core mathers, that is 18 speeds. Even though it says 9 here, and this has nothing to do with the gears, total gears. This only has 2 on it. But anyways, I'm rambling. Well, so the important question is, does it shift? Well, actually, yeah. I had one time where I went to shift and it didn't shift because it was already in that gear, so it jumped up and I didn't know it, or it jumped down. It was a downshift, and I didn't realize it because I was went to pound up the hill, and I guess bumping down the single track before it had already got up there. But that was the only misshift I had. I haven't had it. I've rode this bike for a couple of weeks now. I've beat the snot out of it, and yeah, I haven't really even had to touch the barrel adjuster for cable issues. I have a go tune up at the bike shop, but the shifting on this bike has been flawless. And I got to say, I was kind of disappointed. Normally you see like a Dior group set on the bottom of a bike shop bike, but yeah, I got this other group set that I'm not familiar with, but it hasn't let me down, so I will rock it. Alright, Giant, seriously, 2020, it's Boost. Everyone's running Boost. Quick release, and not this quick release dropout stuff. Boost is the way to go. Nice through axle. It'd be cool with it in the back, with the front. Yeah, I just really like to see Boost. I would feel that much like safer on the bike. It's the one thing on this whole bike that I'm like, on about sending it, is this little tiny wire of a front axle. Yeah, Giant, get with it. Give me a Boost. And while we're pointing here, the single heaviest boat anchor is this front fork. Yes, it is supple, but if you planned on keeping the bike and like upgrading and stuff, which I'm kinda we'll go into that in the next video, where I'm gonna go next with a bike, but that's gonna be future. But yeah, would be a fork upgrade would be quite nice. The thing is heavy. Now, one sweet thing about these 29-inch tires and the overall geometry of this bike is it climbs like a mountain goat. Very rarely wants to wheelie, and if anything, just scooting forward on the saddle or leaning forward, that sort of thing, keep the front end down. The other big thing with this bike is that 29-inch tire. It doesn't want to strike. It's hard to spin. It just climbs. I've only had a couple of instances where, and I'm at 30 psi in these tires right now, which is pretty high even for a mountain bike. A couple instances, it just kind of barely went like a little, not even a full strike. It just kind of, which is really, that alone kind of sold me on the 29ers. They do climb. They hook up well and they climb. Even these treads are just a little narrow tread. There ain't much there to them. It's the same tire front and rear, but there's and like I said, that's a pretty solid pressure in them. That's ready to go play pressure. So yeah, the tires are spot on. And for upgrades, I know you guys are already spotted them, but here they are. These are the Rock Bros pedals. Just put a linky down in the below and description-y. Quite happy with these so far. They're sealed. I don't know how good of shape the chromo axle is in here, if it's going to stab me in the thigh or not, or calf or something. I sure hope it don't. Nice replaceable screws. They all came loose, so if you get a set, check them. Another mod, if you will, that I've done to this bike is I just added a heavy piece of plumbing tape across here, because it's really annoying having these things slap. And I saw a company the other day, I'm pretty sure it was a Canyon bike, and it made me just like, ooh, I want to go check out their bike line, just because they made a nice plastic chainstay protector. Seriously, you manufacturers, either you can kind of see the little clear chintzy one under there, and it probably looks better on the showroom floor without something, but quit with the little ones and give me a serious chainstay protector. And again, down here, see the little chip? Yeah, not that I'm really worried about paint and putty, but it's annoying when you go down the trail and it's making a bunch of noise. So overall, how do I like it? Am I happy with the $750 that I spent? Gotta say, yeah. The bike has performed great. I haven't had any problem with loosening up bolts. The wheels are staying true. No creaks, rattles, no weird issues have popped up. It definitely doesn't have any low-end problems. Even though it's an entry-level bike, it doesn't have any hiccups or flaws. You could definitely tell they kind of beat the beans out of it and refined it. So I have to give Giant credit where credit is due there. It's great value for the money, and as you could tell, it's got the Adventure Brad sticker on it, so it's Adventure Brad approved. I would definitely say if you guys are looking for an adventure entry-level bike, you get into something like this. And while I'm chatting about that, support your local bike shop. My local bike shop took excellent care of me. They did wonderful things service-wise, answering questions. I've gone in and bought a few little parts, and yeah, they're awesome. It's been a great experience, and it's nice. You could just run down and pick up stuff. Now, I told you I was going to make you wait, and here we are, into the video, and I'm going to explain this green valve stem. No, you cannot order tubes with green valve stems. At least, not that I know of. Most of them are steel. Anodizing is a green it's normally done on aluminum. The reason why, and it's still a little Presta, which I have such mixed feelings about. It's the bicycle standard, but it's not the American standard, so it's a pain. You always need to carry an adapter if you want to catch hair anywhere. But the reason why it's a green stem is because the bicycle's tubeless. There's no tubes. I'm tubeless. Isn't that kind of cool? The cool thing is I'm in the desert. There's everything out here is prickly. Everything wants to poke holes in my tires. So I've been having flat issues and constantly having to deal with that. And so far, tubeless, I've been quite happy with. These rims were sold like last year or the year before. Same model of rim, tubeless ready. This year, Giant said nothing about being tubeless ready. Anywhere on the tire you look, it says nothing about being tubeless ready. Don't tell Adventure Brad it's not tubeless ready. I really wanted to try it out. I wanted to see if there was any benefits to tubeless. Honestly, ride, I can't tell, but I'm no pro. I'm just getting back into this. The one thing I can tell you is I haven't had any flats. It was easy to convert to tubeless. I did the tubeless tire method. I don't feel the need to do a video on it for you guys. But yeah, I just wrapped Gorilla Tape around on the end, took the rim strip off, cleaned everything well, wrapped Gorilla Tape around on the inside of the rim. The tires fit really well to the rim in the first place. I put the tubes on, or installed these valve cores, which are just pretty much, and you could actually cut your old tubes up and do it with, but just take the valve core. I installed it, made sure it's nice and tight. That's the one cool thing about the bike shop, is my first go is I actually bought the wrong ones, trying to buy cheap and buy the cheapest set they had, and then I came home and they didn't fit. So I went back and they just swapped them out for me, no questions, just yeah, and then saved me the $10. So that was way cool of them. They didn't have to do that for me, and they answered all my questions and encouraged me through it. Bought my stand sealant from them, valve core in, I mounted the tire up on the rim, filled it with air. If you're doing it the first time, I would recommend, if you bought the bike, to do it like right off. The tires are going to want to stick to it, and then the carcasses are going to be the newest and the most wanting to seal, because that's the thing with tubeless, non-tubeless tires, is they're not coated on the inside to hold air themselves, so they will seep to the sidewall. Luckily, I didn't have that issue. I put them on, I aired it up dry, it popped on, it seated, I just used my compressor, and then I let the air back out by pulling the valve core out, and just the inside of the valve core here, just the little, if you guys aren't familiar, just that little bit could be pulled out right there. So I pulled him out, and to let all the, or I already had it out, popped the bead off, dumped in like 4 to 5 ounces of fluid. I was kind of on the heavy side because I wanted to make sure it's sealed, and I knew I wasn't doing what was right. Lined it all up. I wear glasses, but if you don't, put some glasses on in case, you know, it pops off the bead. You don't get latex lube in your eye, because that's pretty much what it is. Hit it with the air compressor, it popped on the bead. It seeped around the rim a little bit at first, and I just kind of spun it, and within 5 minutes it was good. The first couple of nights I noticed like a little kind of drip. There's actually kind of a stain from one right there. Just where like a little bit of seepage came down the bead and ran off. But I haven't had any cactus flats. I don't have a risk of pinch flatting. Remember the snake bites back in the day, because you would hit the rim so hard from running low pressure, it would snake bite it. Being that it's not all completely tubeless rated ready, I'm a little sketchy on going low on the pressure. Depending on conditions, I might go like 25, maybe even 23, 22, somewhere in there. But I'm quite happy with my approximately 30 pounds that's in it. So yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for joining along. A little Adventure Brad review of the 2020 Giant 29er Talon 2. What a lovely bike. Like I said, go out, get one. And if you guys like mountain bikes, thumbs up. If you don't like having thumbs down. If you want more of this, subscribe. Ring my bell if you want to hear the stuff as soon as it comes out. And we'll see you guys next go.